Hello, Upstreet friends. I'm so glad that you joined us today for Kid City Online. I know some of you are a little bummed that we're still not getting back together yet, but don't worry. I promise we will be getting back together very, very soon. Now, we last week started a new month, the month of June, and we are putting our focus on faith. Now, faith, if you remember right, is believing in what you can't see because of what you can see. Now, I know that can be a little tricky and just, a little confusing, but I want you to think about something that you know a lot about, and that's the wind, okay? So think about the wind. Can you see the wind? No, of course you can't see the wind. You can see what the wind does. Maybe you can see it blowing the trees, the leaves in the trees. Maybe you can see it blowing someone's hair back. Maybe you can even see when a bird is flying and they kind of dip down or go backwards because of the wind. You can see the things that it does. You can even feel the wind. You can feel it blowing on your face. You can feel it blowing through your hair. You can feel it just blowing all around you, but you still cannot see it. Well, God is the same way. We can't physically see God. One day we will be able to see God, but right now we can't. But we can see the things that God does. We can see how He has made, all the creation that He has made. We can see how He has changed people's lives, the things that He has done in the lives of lots of people, and we can even see what He's doing in our life right now. So when we take a closer look at faith, we are, like I said, we are believing in the things that we can't see because of the things that we can. Now, let's talk about that memory verse. Our new memory verse is Hebrews 11:1, and we've got a special friend today that's going to help us out in memorizing our memory verse. Let's check this out.
Hi, my name's Cooper. I'll be telling your memory verse today. Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we can't see. Like this. Yeah.
Thank you so much for helping us with our memory verse today. Truly appreciate that. And guys, if you are memorizing your verses at home, I want to see it. Simply have your mom or dad take a video and send it to me so that I can see how you have practiced and are memorizing your verse, especially for this month of June. Now, we're going to play a really fun game. Last week, we had some images that come up on the screen, and you had to tell me if you needed a microscope, a telescope, or just your eyes. If you haven't watched that video yet, go back and watch it. It's a lot of fun. Now, today what we're going to do, we're going to put some images on the screen, and these images are very blurry. And so what I want you to do is I want you to focus your eyes on these images and see if you can guess what they are. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Great job, guys. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to get your parents to comment below the videos on our Facebook page of how many images you got correct. No cheating, okay? And whoever got the most images, you're going to be receiving a very special prize. So I want to see how many points you got. Now, here is one of our favorite parts. It is time to dance. It is time to sing. I want everybody up on your feet. We're going to be singing that new song again called Only Focus. It is already stuck in my head. I hope it is yours too, because it really helps us to remember that all we need to do is focus on Jesus. So now is your time to do that. Put all of your focus on Him and sing to Him. Here we go.
thing ever. See, there's a Savior, and his name is Jesus. You might have read about him in the Bible.
Well, how he walked upon the water and calmed the raging sea. The greatest miracle he performed is when he gave new life to me.
See now, Jesus performed many amazing miracles.
Like feeding thousands of people with 5 little loaves of bread and raising the dead, let them breathe new life again. He's still the same Lord that he was back then. Love has made a way to set me free. Your love has 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 set me free. From the cross to the grave, he rose again. My life he saved. From the cross to the grave, he rose again. My life he saved. Your love has set me free. 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 Your love has set me free.
Oh, Lord.
This is my faith, this is my focus. All of my days, I know where my hope is. I live it loud, I shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I fix my eyes on you. This is my faith, this is my focus. All of my days, I know where my hope is. I'll live it loud, I shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I fix my eyes on you, oh yeah. go. Hands in the air, hands in the air. I know you're there, I know you're there. Anywhere, oh. Anywhere. I'll fix my eyes on you, on you. Hands in the air, hands in the air. I know you're there, I know you're there. Anywhere, I'll fix my eyes on you, and keep on looking to you for where I'm going. No, you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my all, you are my own, yes, you is. You are my own, you are my all, yes. I'll fix my eyes on you, on you, on you.
Hey everybody, I'm Erica, and welcome to my Summer STEAM Lab! Today, I'm challenging myself to some optical illusions. Dizzy yet? And you know what these tricky little eye puzzles require? A whole lot of faith! Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. So, let's give it a go! Whoa! That is wild! Wanna see? Does it look like the circles are moving? But they aren't! It's a still photo! The way the gray and the black and the white are used makes it look like it's moving. Crazy, right? Do I look like I'm moving? Now, this one is easy. Okay, which of these objects is bigger than the other? Object A. Duh. All right. Wait. Object A. Right? Wait a second. They're the same size. I'm so shocked right now. Okay, sometimes what we think we see is not what's real. And when we discover the truth, it can be shocking. Today's story is all about a guy named Saul who thought he knew it was true, but he was in for a big shock. Let's check it out.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Acts. Chapter 9, verses 1 through 9.
If anyone was set up for the good life, it was Saul of Tarsus.
Greetings.
Though Saul's family was Jewish, he was also born a Roman citizen. Throughout his life, he was known by two different names.
You may call me Saul or Paul.
As a young man, Saul was sent to Jerusalem to study with the famous Rabbi Gamaliel.
Let's see. You have achieved 100% in classical literature, 111% in philosophy, and in ethics, 99%.
Oh, I vow to do better.
Saul became a Pharisee like his father before him. He carefully studied God's law and prayed 3 times a day.
Dear God, help me follow your laws 100% perfectly.
Like the other religious leaders in Jerusalem, though, Saul was caught off guard by the events that surrounded the life and death of Jesus.
Good riddance. Now that fool can't try to overturn God's laws anymore.
Haven't you heard? Jesus' follower says he's returned to life.
They've seen Jesus?
They've seen Jesus.
Those riffraff will slink away soon enough.
Against all odds, the followers of Jesus didn't fade away. In fact, the numbers began to grow.
5,000? You're telling me that 5,000 people are following the way of a dead man?
Well, technically, they think he's alive.
Not helping.
The religious leaders in Jerusalem did everything they could to squash the new movement. They even arrested a leader among the Jesus followers named Stephen. After telling lies about him, they dragged him outside the city.
This man is a disgrace.
Saul stood by and held the coats of the men, who picked up stones and threw them at Stephen, until they killed him.
If Stephen had just let go of this Jesus nonsense, he wouldn't have had to die.
It's terrible. I heard people are following the way of Jesus in other cities too.
What? Inconceivable.
Saul quickly became known for hunting down people who believed in Jesus. When he discovered that some Jews in Damascus were following Jesus, he went straight to the high priest.
This Jesus thing is spreading everywhere.
I'm aware.
They think he's alive.
Hashtag yup.
Someone should do something.
I hope you have something constructive to say.
Give me letters to the synagogues in Damascus so I can arrest all the believers and bring them back here.
Now you're talking.
Saul set off for Damascus with the blessing of the high priest. He traveled with a group of men to arrest the believers they found. After days on the road, they neared the city.
There it is.
We'll make it by lunch.
No, we must take time to pray.
As he did 3 times every day, Saul stopped and turned to Jerusalem to pray, certain God was on his side.
Dear Lord, help me to catch every single one of those despicable Jesus people.
Suddenly, a light more brilliant than the midday sun blazed down around Saul. He staggered, fell to the ground, squeezing his eyes shut against the glare.
Saul, why are you opposing me?
Saul gasped. It felt as though the whole earth shifted beneath him.
Who are you, Lord? I am Jesus. I am the one you are opposing.
The men around Saul stared in horror and confusion, unable to speak. They could see no one, but heard a sound, perhaps like a roar of thunder.
Now get up and go into the city. There you will be told what you must do.
Saul reeled. He struggled to his feet and finally opened his eyes. He saw nothing, only darkness.
What's happened?
You tell us. We saw the light, and you fell, and this sound, and then you said...
I can't see.
What?
I can't see. I've been blinded.
That's not good. Here, take my hand.
Saul grasped the man's hand and shuffled a few steps forward.
Who are you talking to?
I think it was Jesus.
You heard Jesus?
I heard Jesus.
Saul's companions led him into Damascus, where he stayed at the home of a man named Judas on Straight Street.
Want something to eat?
I'm not hungry.
Or water?
Not thirsty.
For 3 days, Saul wrestled with himself and God. He'd come face to face with the very man he knew was dead, but discovered that Jesus was very much alive. Now blind, Saul was forced to see everything in a brand new light.
Okay, there's supposedly a picture of a dinosaur hidden in this image. Focus. Okay, I'll just have to have faith that there's a dinosaur in this picture because I do not see it. Speaking of, Saul literally couldn't see after his encounter with Jesus, but in a way, he could see better than he ever had before. Anyway, Saul saw everything. And Jesus made a way for everybody to be saved from their sins. After Jesus went back to heaven, he gave his followers the Holy Spirit. And then many more people believed in Jesus too. Saul wanted to stop the Jesus followers, and he really tried. But Jesus wanted Saul to know a better way. You know, it's amazing how God has revealed himself to people all throughout history. Saul, who is also known as Paul, so Saul and Paul are actually Saul Paul, was no exception, and neither are you. Just like God opened Saul's eyes to see the truth, he can open our eyes too. He may not appear to you in a bright light, but God can get your attention in all kinds of ways, like through nature. Or a conversation with a friend. That's really good. I like that. You're so wise. A song on the radio. God can even use your own circumstances to help you know him. And when you focus in and really see Jesus for who he is, the Savior of the world, it can change how you see everything. So that's the one thing to remember today. Knowing Jesus changes the way you see everything. It's like Jesus gives us brand new glasses to see out of. I can't really see out of these ones, but it's a different way to see, so that's exciting. Oh, perfect! Well, that's all I got for this week. Oh, perfect. These coffee beans want to wave goodbye to you. Bye.
Great job, guys, worshiping and dancing and singing, and that's just such a great way to put your focus on Jesus. Now, we learned about a new story today, and I'm going to give you a little pop quiz here to see if you're listening and paying attention, okay? So I'm going to ask you some questions, and if you know the answer, just shout it out right at the screen, okay? Here we go. Question number 1. Who was the main person in today's story? Very good. If you said Paul, it's basically the same person, but actually it started off he was Saul, okay? After he was changed, then that's when he became Paul, and that's kind of how we know him, is as Paul, but he started off as Saul. That's so interesting. All right, good job if you said Saul. All right, question number 2. As a young man, what did Saul study? Very good. If you said the law, you are correct. The law, that he became a Pharisee. You see, he knew everything about God's law. In fact, I've heard before that when kids like him in that day and age, when they went to school, they had to practically, or pretty much they had to memorize the first 5 books of the Bible. They had to know it by memory. Can you believe that? Every single word, every single scripture, every single paragraph, they had to know it all. And I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've always heard. So y'all do some fact checking on me on that and see if I got that right, okay? All right, question number 3. Before Saul was blinded, how did he view Jesus? Okay, so like we mentioned, he was a Pharisee. You see, Pharisees believed in God, and they believed that Jesus was a man on this earth, but they didn't believe that he was real. They didn't believe he was God's son. They did not believe that he was alive, that he came back to life on the 3rd day. They believed that he was still dead, okay? They didn't believe in his resurrection at all. All right, question number 4. What did Saul do to those who followed Jesus? Do you remember that? Good job. He would look for them and take them as prisoners. He would seek them out. He would go to their houses, hunt them down. He would try to find them the best way he could. That's how strongly he believed in the fact that Jesus was not real, or that he wasn't alive. Okay, so next thing, here we go. Question number 5. Why did Saul go to the high priest? You guys were listening so well. Great. He wanted to stop the people from following Jesus. He wanted to have them arrested. He wanted to have them put into jail. Isn't that crazy? All right, question number 6. As Saul was traveling to Damascus, what happened? Do you remember? Good job. Suddenly, there was a bright light from heaven, and he heard a voice. He was blinded by the light. All right, question number 7. Whose voice did Saul hear? And what did it say to him? Very good. If you said Jesus, awesome, good job. If you said God, basically the same thing, okay? God and Jesus, but it was Jesus specifically talking to him. And Jesus asked him, why? Why do you persecute me? Why? He knew that Saul was persecuting these people. He was seeking them out if they believed in Jesus. He was hunting them down, trying to get them put in jail. But I love how Jesus takes everything that happens to us so personally. And he said, why are you persecuting me? Why are you seeking out these people who believe in me? He wanted to know that, which we know that he already knew the answer why. But he was just confused because, Saul knew everything about the law. He knew about God. So why would he be doing this to people that believed in Jesus? So question number 8, what did the voice tell Saul to do after that? What did he tell him to do? If you said going into the city, good job. He said, go to the city. All right. Number 9, how did the men who were traveling with Saul react? That's an easy one. How would you react if all of a sudden your friend got blinded by this light and you heard this loud voice coming from heaven? What would you do? You would be amazed. Wow. You would be speechless. Wouldn't you? I would be. I know I would be. All right, and the last question number 10. What happened to Saul's eyes? If you guessed blinded, good job. Remember I said he was blinded by the light. He couldn't see. So here's the deal. You see, it took something very dramatic in Saul's life to make him see differently. You see, that's where our bottom line comes in today. Because when we know God, we can view things very differently. We can see things so different. When we know who Jesus is and what he came to do for us and how he wants us to live our lives, we can see things so clearly. We can see things just in a different perspective. And you see, God didn't just do that for Saul. He doesn't just do that for people who are preachers or people that are missionaries or just the people that are in the Bible. He can do that for us each and every day of our lives. You see, when we know Jesus, when we know God, then we can change the way that we see things. And when we do that, what happens is God helps us to make the wise choice. God helps us to treat others the way we want to be treated because we see things just so differently. And we know that when we get to know God more and more, then we know who we are because we know who we are in Him. So I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to put your faith in Jesus, to allow God to open your eyes to see things differently. There is lots of things that are going on in our world right now that amaze me to see. And my main focus though is to love the way Jesus loved, because that's what He wants us to do. And so when we focus on Him and we focus on God, what happens is God just shines through us. And the love that Jesus has given us just pours out of us to other people. So I hope that you'll do that. I hope that you'll get to know Him more and more. And the best way to do that, the best way to get to know Jesus and to get to know God even more are 2 ways. To read His Word, the Word that is so true, the Bible that's 100% real and 100% true. And to talk to Him, pray to Him, and just talk to Him about your problems. Talk to Him about things that are going on that bother you. Talk to Him about the good things. Talk to Him about the times when you're scared. Talk to Him the times when you're afraid. Talk to Him all the time. You know, it says in Thessalonians that we should pray without ceasing. We should be constantly praying all the time. It says that in Timothy. It says that in Philippians. Just constantly giving thanks to God and talking to Him about the blessings that He's given us and the things that we worry about and the things that we want to see changed. God will listen to you. He wants to listen to you, and He loves you so unconditionally. Let's pray today. God, we love You so much, and we thank You. We thank You for change that can come. God, here was Saul who was hunting down people who believed in you, and you changed him. God, you made him your mouthpiece. You had him preach and tell about Jesus and about how real he is. God, we are still reading about him today, thousands of years later. So God, we know that you can change anything and anyone. God, we ask right now for a change in our country. God, we know that we want to see growth. We want to see change, God, and we know that that comes from you. And God, it starts with us. Help us, God, to treat others the way we want to be treated. Help us, God, to focus on you in everything that we do. And help us, God, to love others the way you love us. God, I just pray you be with all of the kids that are watching. Thank you so much for every single one of them, for their gifts and their talents, and God, the purpose that you've given their life. And I just pray that they focus on you so that they will have their eyes opened to everything around them. They will have their eyes open to you. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much for joining us today online. If you have not had a chance to go by and pick up your packet, no worries. They are right outside the front door in a big tub labeled UPSTREET. There's actually 3 bins. One that is specifically for first grade, and then there's one for second and third, and another for fourth and fifth. Now, if you are a 5th grader, you just got out of 5th grade, you are actually moved up. You will be moving up to the Hangout. Now the Hangout hasn't quite opened back up yet, but we have a new youth pastor. His name is Gary Early, and he'll be reaching out to some of you very soon. But I just want you all to know that I'm just so proud of the year that you had, especially leading worship. You do such a great job on the stage, and I just thank you for all that you did for us and all the help that you were in different times, and just I'm so proud of the growth that you have made, and I know that you're going to continue growing when you go into the Hangout, and I'm just so proud of you guys. And we will miss you so much. But that means our 4th graders, when we come back, 4th graders, you are now considered 5th graders, and you are going to be on stage leading us in worship. So when you're watching these videos, be sure that you're practicing, because we're going to be singing some of these same songs when we come back. Well, I hope that you all have a fantastic week, and we will see you next time. Bye.